In the spring of 1900, a crew of Greek sponge divers sought shelter from a Mediterranean storm near the tiny island of Antikythera. When they finally dove into the waters below, they found the wreckage of a Roman-era cargo ship scattered across the seafloor. They hauled up bronze sculptures, fine glassware, and coins. They also brought up a heavily corroded shoebox-sized lump of bronze. Nobody paid much attention to that lump. It sat in the courtyard of the National Archaeological Museum in Athens until 2 years later, when a Greek politician named Spyridon Stais decided to take a closer look. Stais noticed something that did not belong in an ancient shipwreck. Embedded within the fused rock and oxidized metal were the distinct triangular teeth of a coin-sized gear wheel. According to the established historical record, gearing of this mechanical complexity did not exist in the ancient world. The precision required to interlock metal gear trains for mathematical computation would not appear in Europe until clockmakers began building them in the 14th century. The device recovered from the Antikythera wreck was built sometime between 150 and 100 BCE. Between this object and the next comparable geared machine, there is a span of 1,400 years. The systematic study of the mechanism began in the 1950s, when British historian Derek de Salaprice commissioned the first X-rays of the fragments. He identified the device as an astronomical calculator powered by an intricate network of gears, including a differential gear to calculate the phases of the moon. But Price's work hit a physical limit. 2 millennia of marine accretion and corrosion meant early X-rays yielded fuzzy images. Researchers could guess at the internal structure, but they could not conclusively prove how the hidden gear trains meshed together. This limitation changed in September 2005. An 8-ton microfocus CT scanner, a machine originally designed to inspect aircraft turbine blades, was transported directly into the museum's basement. The high-resolution, 3-dimensional scans penetrated the bronze and revealed something hidden inside the corroded plates. Thousands of tiny inscribed Greek characters. It was a user manual written by the original maker, detailing exactly how the device worked. The text confirmed that the front display featured 2 concentric dials. An outer ring tracked the Egyptian calendar's 365 days, while an inner ring displayed the zodiac. Elaborate pointer mechanisms tracked the position of the sun, the moon, and all 5 planets known in antiquity. The back of the mechanism featured 2 large spiral dials. The upper spiral tracked the 235-month Metonic cycle, used to synchronize lunar and solar calendars. The lower spiral tracked the Saros cycle, a period of just over 18 years that allowed the user to predict the exact month and time of day of upcoming solar and lunar eclipses. These cycles were derived from centuries of systematic observations recorded by Babylonian astronomers. The Antikythera mechanism took those massive databases of celestial mathematics and compressed them into a single hand-cranked bronze machine. Knowing the mathematical ratios for the cosmos is one thing. The engineering problem is an entirely different challenge. How did a craftsman in the 2nd century BCE physically cut these gears without machine tools or industrial precision? Consider the scale of the work. The device's main drive wheel is roughly 13 centimeters across and contains exactly 223 teeth. To function smoothly without jamming, each of those teeth had to be spaced less than 1.6 millimeters apart consistently around the entire circumference. Reconstructions by modern engineers show that the ancient Greeks relied on tools like the vertical lathe to shape flat bronze blanks. To bore precise axle holes, they used bow drills, pulling a horizontally strung bow back and forth to rotate a vertical drill shaft. Once the circumference was mathematically divided, the craftsmen used chisels and increasingly fine natural abrasives to file every single tooth by hand. They chose a triangular profile, a simple V-cut between 2 flat faces. While modern engineering uses curved involute teeth for perfectly constant speeds, triangular teeth were achievable with hand tools, and their slight speed variations were acceptable for ancient observational astronomy. The maker's mechanical ingenuity peaked with the moon display. 2nd century BCE astronomers like Hipparchus knew about the lunar anomaly, the observation that the moon moves faster across the sky when it is closer to Earth and slower when it is farther away. To replicate this variable speed using parts that only spin in perfect circles, the craftsman mounted a pin on one gear that slid inside a slot on a second gear, with the 2 axles slightly offset. A constant turn of the input gear forced the slotted gear to accelerate and decelerate with every rotation, perfectly mimicking the moon's actual orbital velocity. The mechanism required no out-of-place tools. It relied on intense mathematical discipline, a masterful understanding of geometry, and months of painstaking, highly specialized hand filing. This raises the most unsettling question about the Antikythera mechanism. If Hellenistic workshops were capable of this level of precision engineering, why is there a 1,400-year silence in the archaeological record before similar devices appear? The answer lies in the economics of the ancient world. Bronze was incredibly valuable, And unlike stone, it does not survive neglect. When a city-state fell, when a war was lost, or when a workshop closed, bronze statues, fittings, and scientific instruments were gathered up and melted down to be recycled. Historical texts confirm that the Antikythera device was not entirely alone. The Roman statesman Cicero wrote of seeing similar mechanical models of the planets, built by craftsmen in elite philosophical schools. They were the products of a thriving tradition funded by wealthy patrons. But when the geopolitical landscape shifted and the patronage dried up, the market for handheld bronze cosmos vanished. Every functional bronze mechanism that was not deliberately buried eventually went into the furnace. The Antikythera mechanism survived precisely because the ship carrying it sank to the bottom of the Aegean, pulling the bronze out of human reach. The astronomical theory survived in written texts, the mechanical execution did not. Making a machine like this required tacit knowledge, embodied, physical skills passed directly from master to apprentice in a workshop. When the workshops closed, that chain of instruction broke, and the knowledge died with the craftsman who held it. History is rarely a steady march upward. The oxidized gears pulled from the Antikythera shipwreck prove that entire disciplines of human ingenuity can be built, perfected, and then completely erased for 14 centuries.